Hi, I'm going to be retelling the myth of Izanagi and Izanami, but here's a bit of info first. Japan is an island in East Asia located in the Pacific Ocean. It's easy to spot on a map because it's shaped like a J. Japan's population is about 125.6 million. It has been dropping since it reached 128 million 7 years ago. Japan's life expectancy is about 82.59 years, so that's good. Oh, and Japan's capital city is Tokyo. Anime and manga was created in Japan, and it's super popular. The Japanese believe in kami, impurity, purification, the afterlife, and luck. These are all taught in Shinto. The word Shinto means the way of the gods. The majority of Japan is Shinto. It was founded in Japan in the 1600s BC. It is not a religion. It is a set of beliefs and practices to be carried out diligently to establish a connection between present-day Japan and its ancient past. Mythology is very important to Japan because it contains their history and stories about their gods and ancestors, which they respect very highly. The myth of Izanagi and Izanami is very important because the story describes the legendary birth of the celestial and earthly worlds, the birth of the first gods, first ancestors, and the birth of the Japanese islands. The ancestors are especially important. The Japanese respect them a lot. An annual ancestral ceremony, Bon, takes place in either July or August. This is when family members go to the cemetery or shrines to honor all of the spirits of the dead who are believed to have returned from the other side. There are shrines all over Japan, and food are offered on the altars. Shrines are also said to house the gods, and many people go there to worship them. This story is from the Kojiki, the Japanese record of ancient things. The Kojiki is one of the books of lore and history, which provides stories and backgrounds to many Shinto beliefs. It's kind of like the Bible in Christianity, but in a more historical than religious way. Another important one is the Nihon Shoki, which means Chronicles of Japan. But let's just focus on the Kojiki. Note, deities and other words of gods. Before heaven and earth came into existence, all was chaos. Then the whole mass of existence formed an egg, with the pure elements rising to the outside creating the heavens, and then pure elements congealing on the inside forming the dense and dark earth. When heaven and earth began, three deities came into being. These three were invisible. Then pairs of deities, always male and female, were born. After several generations, the fifth and last pair were born, which was Izanagi and Izanami. Izanagi and Izanami were ordered to create and take care of the land of Japan. The young pair was given a jeweled spear. Standing on a floating bridge of heaven, they dipped it into the ocean brine and stirred. They pulled out the spear, and the brine that dripped off it formed the first island of Japan. The latter was the result. They descended to the newly created island, on which they built a great pillar to the heavens. They walked around the pillar until they reached each other on the other side. When they met, Izanami exclaimed, "What a fine young man!" and he responded, "What a fine young woman!" And the two got married. They procreated and gave birth to a rich child, which they put in a basket and let float away. Disappointed, they returned to heaven and consulted the deities there. The deities explained that the cause of their difficulty was that the female had spoken first when they met to procreate. So they tried again, but this time Izanagi was the one who spoke first. They mated and gave birth to the 8 main islands of Japan and 6 minor islands. Then they gave birth to a variety of deities to inhabit those islands, including the sea deity, the deity of sea trade, and the deities of rivers, winds, trees, and mountains. Last, Izanami gave birth to a fire deity, and her private parts were so burned that she died. Distraught and full of anger, Izanagi used his long sword to behead his son, the deity of fire whose birth had killed Izanami. From the blood on the sword came 3 deities of frost, 2 deities of fire, and 1 deity of water. Izanagi still longed for Izanami, and he went to the underworld in search of her. He called out to her in the darkness and asked her to come back with him. She promised him that she would go ask the gods of the underworld, but told him not to look for her. Tired of waiting, Izanagi broke off the end of a comb in his hair and set it afire for a lamp. He found a body with maggots consuming it. These maggots were the 8 deities of thunder. Repulsed by the sight, he fled. Awakened, Izanagi sent the 8 deities of thunder after him. Then she pursued him herself. Izanagi was able to escape and used a huge rock to cover the passage to the underworld. Enraged, Izanami shouted that each day she would kill 1,000 people of Japan if he left her. He responded if she did so, each day he would cause 1,500 children to be born. This is why 1,500 children are born and 1,000 people die each day. Izanagi left Izanami to explore the underworld and went back to the land of the living. Feeling unclean from his contact with the dead, he took a bath to purify himself. He deeds both good and evil rose from his discarded clothing. During his bath, the sun goddess Amaterasu, the moon goddess Tsukuyomi, and the god of seasons storms Susanoo were born. Proud of these three noble children, he divided his kingdom among them. But that's about it. There are other myths that continue off of this one, but that's another story. Bye bye!